12th of this year. All right, so we're still very new. We are babies. I have a Facebook page that has 550 followers. The community has been unbelievable. I understand word of mouth is the best way to put our business out there, and so we're super grateful for our circle of people, right? So that's one of the reasons I love this community right here. I love how he was, where are you? Monty was saying to foster community. Well, I couldn't agree more. We use that term a lot in the foster household. We foster community. Anyway, I have, after the fact, if you want to come up and see like my business cards, my agreement, anything that we have like this. I am not a techie person, so this is my slide. This is my one and only slide today. I would love to be critiqued on it. Things that you would change, that you would actually include on this or exclude on this. We were kind of like, okay, do we put family owned and operated? Do we not? It's very important to me that my family is included. I am the face of Junky Monkey, but I don't want to be the face of Junky Monkey. I want this to be the face of Junky Monkey. I want when people see this, they don't even have to see this to know what this is and what we do. That is my goal, is for just this face to be known throughout Lake County as, oh yeah, that's Junky Monkey and they remove junk and they're friendly and they're kind and they go the extra mile, and that's what I want people to see when they see this monkey face. So if I can get some feedback as to ways that you guys think that you know, here's one way that you can do that. I'm all about that. But we also have, like I said, like the agreements that people sign. So if anybody is real good at that kind of thing, please feel free to take a look at that. I want to know how to make my brand stick out. We're not the only junk removers in Lake County, but I want to be the first ones that come to mind. So ways to do that. Let's see. I have a website. It looks awful. Because I am not a web designer, right? Matt can attest to that. He has seen my website. It was one of those things where I knew I needed a website in order to be legit. You know, like people have to be able to go to a place where they can see who we are and what we do. But man, I hope they're not grading me on my website. And reality is, I know that they are. I know that they are. So I know I need help there. Also, I'm looking for areas to reach out to specifically. I don't know what I don't know, right? And so that's one of the reasons I'm standing right here. We have reached out to realtors, real estate investors, property managers. Those are like my core 3 places so far. But I know that there's more. I'm very aware that there's more. There's also like construction debris removal and all of that. I also know that there are things like other certifications or something that we might have to have that I haven't been able to even look into yet in order to be able to do that. Put extra paperwork that they're gonna need before we start, you know, removing stuff on their sites. But I am open to, if you have anything that pops into your brain. Yes, sir.
Just thought of one. Every time I get my lawn pest control, they leave a sign in the yard. Pest control was done by this company. Even if while you're on site, if you have just a yard sign that's Junky Monkey is removing junk right now, yes. I think that's, everyone drives by, oh, who's doing that? Oh, I remember that funny logo. Good enough.
Okay, good. Question, when they left the sign, did they ask you if they could put it in your yard?
No. Maybe included
in the contract. I like it.
Well, I think, George, you would be able to use this service from time to time.
Yeah, first time I saw it, I'll be honest with you, I thought you were a child's jamboree place. I'm just being honest. I love the name Junky Monkey, absolutely love the catch of it. That's going to be, I walk around saying Junky Monkey after that last time a little bit. So I'd like to see Junky Monkey trash removal, clean out. under it to help define. So the Junky Monkey is your brand name. That's your logo. And then you got about 2 seconds, 3 seconds to get somebody's attention. So Junky Monkey gets their attention, but then they start laughing, enjoying the name because it's so fun. So we got to reel them in and sell them on that 2 or 3 seconds is what we do. Example, 2 men in a truck. What do you think they are? Not too many people are going to get confused that it's 2 guys in a truck. Well, will they do this for me? So Junky Monkey Junk Removal. Got to add that extra line to now define you. So you created your brand. I love your logo. Now tell them what you want to sell because I moved on and I miss that.
I'd like to comment on that. Google, what do you guys think of Google when it first came out? What would you think of Google as being? No one knew, right? But it was a catchy, but it built on itself and now everybody knows what Google means. So I would say Junky Monkey is great, but maybe where you have that will swing by for an estimate, that's where I would agree with George in regards to
Just finish the circle.
stating what you do. But I would just definitely focus on the Junky Monkey if you wanted to do that. But I think keeping it Junky Monkey, it's cool, and then that's a way to be able to pitch your business.
And it kind of rhymes too, Junky Monkey Junk Removal. So it's kind of nice that way.
I might have
And I'm,
By the way, I love the family home. Keep that.
done it.
So, not to interrupt you, but I really like the family owned, and the biggest thing is like, if let's say you came in at $1,000 and someone else came in at $1,000, your personality sticks out more. So if you're doing the sales, I think you got it. You got me here, and I don't even have any junk to remove. You know what I mean?
So my husband and I were a phenomenal team because we're very different. So opposites attract, right? I am this person. I am your friendly, outgoing. I'll talk your ear off if you let me. I'm that girl. I want to build the relationships with the people. I'm big on that. I'm big on relationship building, and that is this business, believe it or not. You wouldn't think so, but it is for that purpose. Excuse me. So I'm the one that connects with the people. They call me, they get me. If they don't get me and it goes to voicemail, they get my 11-year-old daughter who is leaving the message. Okay. And so when it comes to actually removing the junk, that's where my men come in. So I've got my husband, I've got my 17-year-old, my 16-year-old, and my 14-year-old that just are workhorses. When he is at work, if it has to be done in the daytime, well, that puts me on a truck. And that's just what we do. And I've got bruises to prove all the refrigerators I've lifted, okay? So it's not that we're not willing, but we know where we belong, what areas we belong in this business. And it is our goal to bring him home, to do this as a family-owned and operated business where this is our sole income, at least for a while until we start something else because, never want to have it all in one pot, right? Yes?
And I haven't seen all of your stuff, but my husband and I are big on making sure companies are licensed and insured when
Yes.
they're going to come do stuff like that. So I'd make sure maybe put that on something.
Sure. Okay, so actually put that on my banner.
Even if it's at the bottom or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be
That's
licensed
good.
because a lot of people. We just had an accountant friend of ours. They hired somebody. Thank goodness they were licensed, but he got electrocuted, and she didn't find him for another hour or 2 hours later. And thank goodness he was licensed. But if someone's coming on your property and they're not licensed, and they, let's say you don't have all your credentials, that could be a problem for them.
Right.
Yeah, and something like that doesn't go in your logo, but it does need to be anytime you're promoting you, that needs to be somewhere in toward the top because those are people look to check off certain boxes like who are you, what do you do, and are you professional? And when you mentioned even like your website, one of the things that I don't remember if I told you this or not, but people, although you might feel like they're judging it, what they really are judging is whether or not you're convenient. Whether or not you have what they're looking for. When I visit a website, I want to see if you provide what I'm looking for in the first 5 to 10 seconds, right? I just want to see, all right, do they have the services? Are they licensed and insured? And then can I get quotes or can I see the pricing breakdown? Can I see, reviews and such like that? But convenience is a big thing. So, being able to offer estimates, being able to, or request things, being able to book without having to call, those sorts of things just make it easy for people to do business with you. So I don't think it's necessarily that the website or anything about what you do right now isn't professional. You just have to make it to where, one, it's accessible. Like, a website is no good if people don't get driven to it, one. But two, you have to make sure that once they're there, that website has to convert them. Or your presence there, how can you make you, your energy, your family, the family-owned aspect of it, how can you make that part of the website? So people feel that energy even though they haven't met you yet.
It's good. Got that on video, right?
Yeah. Being transparent and putting your license number and everything, so they don't have to look it up online and stuff, that will set you apart too. Being a realtor, I'm big on licensing, like Juan said, because when I recommend to all my clients, I say, hey, go with the licensed and bonded person and local to the area because they're vested in the community. And if you ever have any issues, they're gonna come back and do the right thing. Otherwise, they're gonna be bashed by the whole community that they live in. So that I would advise you put every disclosure that will set them as VPs, and licensing and bonding is huge.
I would reach out to contractors that are around. My wife works for a contractor, and I know both before they start a project, they almost always have to have junk removed, and then almost always after they're ready to move on to the next project. And so a lot of times they'll have junk removed, clean up after the construction. So reach out to the contractors. There's a lot of them, obviously, in town.
Especially small.
Does anybody know any personally, by chance?
Well, my wife works for one.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
And I was contacts and connections, estate sales. I have a contact in estate sales, and yes, when they're finished, there's a lot of junk to haul away, and then there's also the cleanup. So, if we can make that connection for you, I can help you with that.
Also, all the cleaning companies that are around, like Molly Maids and all those. A lot of times they, especially the ones in town, might not have junk removal abilities.
Sure. I'm big on that as well because I would also love to be able to refer them to, because we do a broom sweep. So if it can be I give to you and you give in return, that would be awesome. Yes.
There's companies out there who advertise that they help organize garages and organize your household. So I would try to contact some of those people and work with them. And I think people are very visual, so doing before and afters and putting those visuals out on your social media, out on your website, that just says it all without you having to say anything. And people can really relate to the before and after pictures.
That was literally the first thing I did when we started, which I believe is how we've gotten 550 followers so far, even to this point. People do enjoy that. I know that what I tried to do was to make people see their garage and then what they wanted their garage to look like, even though it wasn't their garage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And as a realtor, I would do a little video on the before and after of literally filming the inside of cabinets and all that, because that's detail. So no one can see it, a cabinet cleaned out if the door is shut. So open up the cabinets, take pictures of that, but then afterwards show that you literally cleaned everything out, because there's some cleaners out there that miss things like that. But then they'll, you know what I mean? So
Paying attention to detail.
exactly.
Whenever
This gentleman has had his hand up for a while.
Just building on that, whenever you talk, you should talk about the process. Are you sending out a dumpster, or is there a minimum price?
Yeah, so there is a minimum price. It's $100 minimum price. A lot can fit into that $100, but each one is a little bit different. So it's tailored to the actual job, which is why I say we'll swing by for a free estimate, because I want to get my eyeballs on it. I want to be able to be personable with them. It's harder to do over the phone or over text for sure. And so if we can swing by, then I can tell them that process. I can say, okay, it looks like it's going to take this many men, this many hours. It's going to include one dumpster, or it's going to, just be our truck, or whatever have you.
That's
It's
why
at
that
that
has
point.
to be included. You have to say, we'll just come get your refrigerator, or we'll empty your whole house. We'll send out a 15-yard dumpster if that's what you need,
Where do you think I should include that?
whenever you talk.
Just whenever I talk to them. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Delaney, so Amanda is the traffic cop now?
Okay.
Thank
So
you, Amanda.
thank you so much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
Thank
All right,
you.
Christina.
Okay, I was gonna say on the website, you could also include what you do with gently used items.
Yeah, that's good.
Make sure, because a lot of people wanna know that, there's stuff that they're getting rid of is going to a good place.
I'm glad that you brought that up. I didn't cut you off, did I?
No.
Okay. We do, it's something I didn't mention. Just because we pick up junk doesn't mean we want to overcrowd our landfills any more than the next person. And so we try to be as eco-friendly as possible. If there is stuff that still has life left in it, some of the stuff we pick up isn't junk. It's just not. And so that's why I guess that's the only reason why I get nervous about saying junk removal, because the people see junk removal and they say, oh, well, I don't have junk. My stuff isn't junk. And so that's why I tried to kind of just list the things out here. I almost put and more at the bottom just so that people didn't only see these things and think, oh, that's not what I have. But we're actually community partners with Habitat for Humanity, and we actually have a Habitat for Humanity home. So we got that 13 years ago, and we felt like that was a really good way to full circle and give back. And so we will donate all of the items that still have life left in them, and then if there's things that we can recycle, we will recycle. And then at the very last but not least, they'll go to the dump if it's truly trash and junk. Who are you pointing at? Matt?
So along the lines of the before and afters, so anytime you post anything like that, whether it's on your socials, on your websites, on your Google page, one of the things that you want to do is you want to make sure you're using the keywords that refer to you. So who you are, what that service was, and where you did it. Those things, basically they're meta tags. So it tells the algorithms of all the search engines exactly, like maybe you do a job that is an outlier and it's not here, or maybe it's in Seminole County, right? And so you mentioned that city, but you did that job in, Google's gonna pick up on that because they don't know what the picture has in it. You have to tell Google what's there. So you mentioned the service, you mentioned the location, you mentioned you. Anytime you post anything, and it builds your own off-page SEO, and you want to use your website URL for every single one of those posts as well, because it builds your off-page SEO.
Awesome.
Thanks, Matt. In regards to, lost my train of thought. You know what? Let me get back. I apologize. I was listening to him and it was good information. I lost my train of thought.
I wanted,
Yeah.
He wants to come back because he doesn't remember his train of thought.
I was, want to speak a little,
I think you're amazing. You remind me very much of a daughter-in-law we have who runs 6 or 7 children all day long. We know all you got to do is try and let them live and feed them. And so you speak like her, you have the same gestures. I'm going to send her a little bit of a video clip I took of you with your permission.
Absolutely.
But anyway, I want to, I see so much energy and excitement about this that I would like to suggest that because coming with a family with so many children, that you assign the children jobs. So they're not running hither and yon and tripping and sprinklers and dogs and falling and yelling and crying. That, you know,
Almost like she has seen children before.
so one would be responsible for the bottled water for the individuals. And another one would be responsible for standing near the orange cones, out of the way of the workers. I'm not sure what liability you would have by using children underage in your family business on somebody else's property. You know, lifting things, carting things, and that kind of thing. So I hope it's not a problem, but just be aware of it. And the other thing is, I think that I would take your estate, word estate, and move it to the top or the bottom. And I would, I'd keep it on the list, move it top or bottom, depends on how much you want to put the thrust and focus on that, to estates respectfully removed, because in an estate you may be dealing with family that are going through severe grief and they don't want to be connected with Junky Monkey. So along with that, paralleling with the idea, is when they say, well, we have an estate, mom passed away, you need to immediately change your tone, calm down, be respectful. We will handle your treasures that the family hasn't taken with gentle respect. And you change your pitch immediately, because I want to have a cleaned out garage because I'm putting in 2 new motorcycles, is a different amount of energy than dealing with somebody's grief. So I think tucked in the middle there between evictions and whole house, estate doesn't belong there. So it deserves its own respect, maybe even a dot on the side of it, and use the word respectfully removed, or you want to give that idea of compassion, because you're handling heirlooms. Maybe not, but in their imagination, it's their family memories and heirlooms.
That's good. Was that your complete thought?
Pretty much.
Okay. I do want to just touch on what she said about each kid having their own job and the liability at the house. So everybody in my family within Junky Monkey has their own job, but the 4-year-old, the 8-year-old, and the 11-year-old are not on the job site. They're not on the job site. There has been times when Sadie is right here. She hates the attention, so don't look at her. But she is 13. She acts 17, but she is 13. Also extremely respectful. We have raised our children to be very respectful people, and so nobody is running around the site at all at any given time. Very rarely does she go, but I will tell you that the last 2 weeks we have spent with a hoarder, her and I, because our energy matched the hoarder, as opposed to my husband, let's get it all out energy. That would not have been good energy. So really being able to feel out the energy of the person, yes, I feel is a forte of ours. Like that is definitely something that we have been able to do. So I appreciate you putting some focus on that, because it reminds me how important that is. Yes, I'm sorry, who's next? All right, great.
Yeah. Getting back to the charity, I know you and I have talked and everything, and I think on that webpage you do need to put on there and emphasize the charity page, and talk to Matt regarding that. He's the web guy. But then I also would talk about recycling, and that you're eco-friendly and you're about that, and have that a separate page, because those are 2 big things that people really focus on nowadays, with promotion of eco and all that. So right, that's really good.
I have put, we became partners with Habitat for Humanity after I built the website, so it definitely needs some updating.
Yeah, I would also include that on your socials. You can do the before, after, and then the after. We're at the recycling center, we're at the Habitat place, and then you would be, giving Habitat recognition and showing people. Some people might not realize that they can bring things to Habitat, and they're like, wow, we got this at our house, let's call her, she'll take it to Habitat.
Right. Yeah, I have done reels at the scrapyard of my 16 and 17-year-olds pushing refrigerators off or throwing things into a pile or whatever. It also shows the family working together, which is another thing that I'm trying to show. Who had their hands up over here?
Well, I was just gonna say, make sure you keep track of the numbers. So how many pounds of recycling, how many donations, what the donations were to Habitat, because people like to see numbers, and I'm sure very quickly in your line of work, the numbers will get very high.
Yeah.
Very quickly. I mean, how many pounds have been recycled that would have gone to a landfill? People are really interested in that knowledge, that information.
I got that on paper, I can go back and count. Yes.
You've been talking about a lot of stuff here. Have you developed kind of a focus plan of, right now you're still, you formed in June, so small ramp up, but are you seeing trends that might be, because again, you're talking, estates, like it's all over the place, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but in terms of the focus of your time and energy, again, right now you're the face of the franchise out creating relationships, creating partnerships. So my point being is, yes, you can get work through social media and get one-offs here, someone needs a garage cleaned but how can you scale your time to develop those relationships with those realtors, with those organizations or those partners that you can, all of a sudden that will lead over time to much more business as opposed to going to these one-off kind of things. Is there any kind of, that's probably part of this process, right?
That is exactly why I'm here.
So
I was really kind of hoping Wendy would be here today. I desperately want to talk to her. We would love to be a part of the incubation process if that were to lead into that. But even if not, this is where I knew that I could get the most.
So take these ideas and thank God you involved yourself with the chamber, because then that's another established business people that you can, when you attend their events, create these relationships with people who could become partners.
Sure.
Or give advice just like here. So
sure. We're also part of BNI just down the road.
Yep.
And so I've created some awesome relationships with people there too. I definitely feel like that's my sales team and this is my round table,
a great way to put it.
So yeah.
I'd like to comment a little bit more on what he has stated. I'm a data person, and it would be really cool for these people that are data people on your website have a running little thing of pounds of recycling that was, and throughout the whole year, and at the end of the year, have a thing stating, hey, this is how much we recycled this year, and then donations, this is how much we gave, and that would be really, really cool, because then you'll have people engaging even more like me that love numbers.
How would you gauge the recycled? It wouldn't be by pounds, so would it be just by value?
No, by poundage. Whatever.
Huh? They don't. It's only by assessed value of what it is for them. They don't do it by pounds. I don't have a scale big enough for that. Yeah.
I would use whatever
they measure by.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I have like their assessed value of what we have given them. So that's kind of the only number that I have. Or I could say like trips to Habitat, but that's all different. I may have one item for them, or I may have a bunch.
Yeah, but if $40,000 or $80,000 worth of material was put back into the community, not thrown into a landfill.
Yeah. Right.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be really good.
On that same note, just so you know, McDonald's paid $21 million to their marketing company to come up with the thing on the bottom of the sign that says 21 million burgers sold. And that's what they started at, 21 to go up, because they paid 21 million to the marketing company to come up with that idea. So you can have it for free.
Yeah.
So I was going to tell you another association that's helped me as a new insurance agency. Last year I became a sponsor for the Women's Council of Realtors. And I can go to their functions, I get to meet a lot of realtors. There's different packages. So as being a new business owner, they had one that fit my budget. And I'll give you more information about that, but that's a great way to network with a lot of your realtors.
I know the people at the board. I'll give you the information to be an affiliate. That would be the best thing, actually, because then when you're an affiliate, we just had a realtor big event yesterday with all the affiliates that sponsored it, and when you get in there now, you're with the board, so you're dipping that in the bud where all the realtors and everybody will know about your service. So,
One quick follow-up to the leads. Being in real estate, I think a great place for you to go that people don't go in your line is you can access online at the clerk of the court is website and go and look at all the foreclosures that are coming. And if you can go by there just before the foreclosure and either slap one of those alarm things that people put on everybody's door, if you need an alarm, we're coming. And there are a lot of single, one or two small investors who have to do clean outs of those properties. And they pay off in multiple from reuse and everything, so pending or about final evictions.
Hey, and I just want to kind of get a better understanding. I'm Josh, I work over at Maryland Insurance and I deal with commercial insurance.
You say Maryland Insurance?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's who we got it through.
There you go. So I guess I just don't want to get the waters too muddy, and you know, the Junky Monkey and everybody, you know, we're all getting suggestions. What is kind of your targeted client? What's your ideal client? You know, because as as what was mentioned before with having, you know, estate sales and they want to be talked to a certain way because it's different. What is your targeted, maybe focus in on that industry? Because then you're going to be pitching 2 or 3 different styles under the same brand name, right? Junky Monkey, estate, you know, so it might get a little muddied. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm asking, what is your ideal client?
I can tell you our most lucrative. Our most lucrative, because at the end of the day, this is all about making money, right? I'm creating a legacy company for my kids to be able to take over if they want to, and I want this to support them. So at the end of the day, my most lucrative is going to be here in evictions, estate sales, or estate cleanouts, and whole house cleanouts. At the end of the day, that, if I had to choose, that's where I want to spend it. That's why we put specializing in. Really and truly, we've been doing all of this for the same amount of time, right? We didn't go to any extra training to do that, but we want to specialize in that because that's what's most lucrative. We put the other things because we understand that we're not always going to have that job, and we don't want to limit ourselves.
So then I would just a little input. I would put the most important stuff at the top, and then we also do the extra stuff. You know, and that just kind of shows them you're focusing on. You know, we specialize in estates and things like that, and we do this. You know, not have your secondary on top.
I thought about that when we were putting this together, and I'll tell you why I didn't. And then you guys can bounce that off of me too. Because like it was said in the beginning, you have literally 3 seconds or 4 seconds or whatever when people start reading. And if I were to put this up here, I felt like even though it's what I want to specialize in, it would hit a smaller market. And then by the time they got down to junk and trash, they were done reading. Does that make sense? So I'm open for thoughts on that.
I mean, you mentioned that you want to have that face be the brand. There's so many great local events around here. You should develop a mascot costume for your family.
Oh man, we're here because I don't know how to do that, so help me. Because I want to, first Friday, I want to be down here first Friday. I don't want a booth. I want to be walking around with the monkey. I've already told my husband he's the monkey. He's thrilled. No one will know it's him. My 17 and 16-year-old can also fit the costume when I get it. So if you guys know how to get that, I'd love it.
You know what? Honestly, with that, you should have one of the younger ones.
Put Ace.
Yes, so
Put the 4-year-old.
I don't want the monkey running away.
No, that's fair. Leash, but whatever way you want to do it.
That'll be the first time I've ever put a kid on a leash, Greg.
But it's a monkey, not a kid.
That would be really good because a little child and you have that childish look for that monkey.
Well, I don't want people to, okay, this was really big when we created the logo. I wasn't sure about the hair, I'm gonna be honest. No offense, Quan. But the minute I took the hair off, it became Curious George.
Yeah.
And I did not want that. That was too young, it was too little. No one was going to call us for junk removal and take us seriously. And so I left the hair, and that's why I thought bigger, because number one, you would be seen, like my son is 6'3", is Trey 6'3"? 6'3", 6'4", okay? So you're gonna see him and the hair above the crowd. Isn't that the whole goal here? See him and the hair above the crowd, right? And so that's the only reason I said a big one. Because I don't want, when you're in the First Friday and you're in a crowd, nobody's gonna see a little one.
You know, a sticker. You need to have a sticker and pass that out to everybody. And when you're at, another thing like a lot of the inspectors do, when you go through and clean out a home, go on the electrical panel on the inside and put your sticker in there. And what that does, and have your contact information on that sticker. And so whenever somebody sees it and they go into the electric panel, they're gonna see your information. So sticker, but make sure you have that logo, but then you have your contact information, phone number, website, whatever.
And that's legal, I can do that?
Or magnet.
So we've been doing that for years. We badge everything with thermostat. Everything that you see, from the signs in the yard to the little stickers. Yeah, and the QR code is the new thing.
I have that.
Also.
QR code.
I just got magnets for our vehicle, and it's got the QR code on it.
Magnets inside the house, going like the fridge and stuff like that. Landscapers use a lot of that at pressure washers because they're gonna repeat services. So having that, and then taking that and giving a bigger one, a big magnet with a QR code and such like that, and giving that out to a lot of your realtors and such like that, and say, hey, take this to your office. So that, it's a reminder. You want, again, your face to be in front of these people, so top of mind. You gotta stay top of mind in front of people. If they're constantly walking to their office, there's the monkey's face. There's the code. It reminds, okay, that's the company I'm gonna call for that property that I have that I need to clean out.
And I love that he says, he's all straight face, and he says, and then they see the monkey's face, and he just smiled. That I love.
Well, and it kind of goes along the whole line with the stickers and everything. It's something fun, get your name and your brand out there, but really emphasizes, think of Four Rivers when they came out with the Peace, Love, Four Rivers. And then you see bumper stickers everywhere that says Peace, Love, Four Rivers. People love that. Or you see Sunbum and, those little stickers. But if you really want to emphasize how you do the recycling and reuse, you can do the recycling, reuse Junky Monkey. It tells a story. Right there.
Yeah, I like it.
And then you can use the little logos, but you're telling a story right there in your little tagline, and that's what you want to make sure that you're getting out there is who you are, what you do, really quick, but fun.
Last comment. I believe that if you want to stay local, the one way, of course, Street Fest is always good. These festivals are always good. But believe it or not, we've had a huge success with the parades. The parades, we get out there. Everybody's there from the town that knows what's going on. They've got friends of friends that we don't know about. And the monkey can walk the parade on a leash with you or whatever it is.
Even the 7-foot one.
Put Gary on a leash.
And the information to hand out, maybe make a single or a trifold or a bifold, what you do before and after pictures, the QR code to get a hold of you, and be able to pass that out to every single person with a staple piece of candy or something like that on there. So that way, even if they look at it, hey, they'll take the candy, the parents are like, oh, Junky Monkey. They'll read some of it, but the name is so, it rhymes. I believe that they would remember and say, you know what? They're local, right here, family operated and owned. So something like that. And then one time-lapse video, whenever you guys are clearing out a big hoarding house or so, that it's on your phone, slide all the way to the left or the right. So time-lapse video, we get so engulfed in those videos to where it's like we're seeing a huge mess, and next thing you know, 10 seconds, but it might have taken you 4 hours or whatever it is, and now it's completely clean. So.
And make sure it's part of your contract, so they.
Oh yes.
Last question.
Okay, I got one thing on the business. You stated that you want to leave a legacy for your kids to have this business as an investment and sell it for multiple in the future. Right from the beginning, make sure you document all your receipts and have good accounting and make sure it's done really well. Know what a balance sheet is. I cannot stress enough how many small businesses don't know what a balance statement is. Out of all of the statements, that is the number one thing that you need to know your assets and liabilities and always measure on a monthly basis and a weekly basis. And if you keep those books really well and use QuickBooks and get a good accountant, that to sell it for a multiple in the future and to have value in that, that is the way to do it. And do not, and make sure you focus a few hours a week on that and be disciplined in that, because a lot of small businesses are not, they're good at their product or service, but when it comes to the business portion of it, that's where a lot of small businesses fail.
That's what Sadie and I are supposed to do at home while the boys are doing, yeah.
Yeah, so
He's feeding my drum.